Hello, this is Wolf, and I'm here with,
Cat.
and we are talking about Madame Web. So,
Yay. Sorry.
this one, I almost feel bad that we're even covering this because we have not seen it, just to come completely clean with you guys.
Yeah.
We have not seen it and probably will not see it.
It just doesn't look, as much as I love Spider Man and the multiverse stuff, it doesn't look good.
So, one thought that I've had with this whole thing, and this just came out recently, but one thing that I thought of like right away is the way that studios will sometimes release, like, you'll have a movie like Olympus Has Fallen, and then you'll have White House Down,
Yeah.
like at the same time. Like two movies that feel like they should be the same movie, but they're different movies for
Yeah.
some reason.
Yeah.
Two movies that we know this doesn't happen by accident. Two studios just decide to capitalize on each other's marketing and vibe and energy and just tell the exact same story. And it's really annoying.
So you think Marvel's going to do the same thing? Is that how you think?
I think they already did. I think that Madam Web is basically the Marvels for Spider-Man.
No.
And if you look at the cast of characters, you've got an all-female cast of various backgrounds and ethnicities, and you even have, they did the thing with, we're going to get a female director. And listen, there are a lot of talented women directing films.
There's a lot of talented women, period.
I'm right next to one.
Thanks.
Oh, I wasn't talking about you.
You mean Goaty?
I meant this stuffed goat, which I've decided for this joke is a female.
Usually he's male.
Usually it's a male stuffed goat, but we're changing it up. You can do that now. This is 2024.
Don't start.
The goat can be a woman. Anyways, listen. So this female director before this has only directed television, and that's not a knock. I'm just saying.
Could have been a good TV show.
Maybe this could have been a good TV show. Maybe she's great at directing TV, and maybe this just wasn't the right medium for her. Maybe it was just a project that, maybe it's not her fault at all. Maybe there were just a lot of moving parts and the studio got involved. And we know Sony doesn't have a great record with the Spider-Man franchise. But I feel like overall, this was Sony kind of piggybacking on what Marvel was doing and saying, oh my gosh, Miss Marvel came out, right?
Oh,
yeah. And that movie made like $2 billion or something crazy because it was such an important time for the MCU.
Yeah.
And they decided, well, we've got to have our own, like, all-female, like...
Miss Marvel, or you mean the Marvels?
Well, I mean Miss Marvel.
Oh, okay.
Because
Miss Marvel's one of them, but
well, Miss Marvel came out, and then a couple of years later, they heard, ooh, coming down the pipeline, we've got the Marvels, and it's going to be these people, and then they started developing this, and it feels like this was a really rushed project. It does like a whole lot of world building just in one. There was a whole meme on like the different social media sites where there's this whole line in the trailer where the characters are just like,
I didn't really watch the trailer.
I think we saw it when we were watching another movie, but
we were watching Wonka or something.
But the character comes out and she's like, this is a man who met my family in the Amazon when she was studying spiders.
Yeah.
And then just a weird, awkward, like, they're introducing all of this whole character all at once. And already she's in this big collaboration with like 4 other characters. And they're all, as you can see in this picture, they're all becoming heroes like all at once. We've got a whole Madam Web team up where at least let's give Marvel some credit. They at least introduced
all three of them before putting them out there into one group.
Well, they introduced Captain Marvel. I said Miss Marvel before, but they introduced Captain Marvel.
They introduced Miss Marvel, I think is her name. The other girl's name with the long hair.
Are you sure?
I think it's Miss Marvel because she was also introduced. She was introduced in Multiverse of Madness.
Okay. To be honest, I haven't seen that one. So we're talking about lots of stuff that we really don't know too much about, to be fair.
I mean, I saw Multiverse of Madness, but...
She saw Multiverse of Madness. I've just seen a lot of the advertising for this. I've heard about what a fiasco it is to watch. I've heard people say that it's very entertaining just in the fact that it sucks so badly.
Really? I haven't heard anything. All I heard is that, like, it bombed. That's literally all I heard. And I remember the trailer now that you're like the Amazon thing. I was like, yeah, that's all I remember from that trailer. That and like she could see into the past.
Very clunky.
Like a video game thing. And I'm like, this is weird.
Very clunky line. And she's got some interesting powers. And to be fair, so Miss Marvel,
Captain Marvel.
Madam Web. So Madam Web is an established Spider-Man character.
Yes.
But
multiverse-wise.
In the comics, she is much older and she sort of exists in a whole different dimension, but she has the power to move things through dimensions and she has all these dimensional powers. So she can take Spider-Man and, she introduces him. This was like another very weird Marvel multiverse thing that they did at some point. But I don't know. I guess that's funny to me because like they can't make these actresses like hot. They won't make them sexy, but they also won't have an old lady Madam Web. So they're going for that like middle ground of like it's a vaguely attractive, like no, a very attractive actress, but we're going to take her and we're going to, and my
make
God,
her look a little older.
You should have seen the outfit that she was wearing at the premiere to this movie.
Oh no!
Basically, it was an all web dress.
Oh my God!
So very like
sheer.
Yes.
Very see. I know why you saw it then.
Listen, I'm just saying, like, Sony, you are the trashy comic book company. Sony, you're trash.
Don't say that about Sony.
Sony makes very good electronics, not movies. But Sony, we know what kind of movies you make, okay? They're trashy. Put them in some fucking put them in the latex.
I mean, if it's going to be a Spider-Man movie, you have to have the latex. Even if it's female, male, doesn't matter. They need that latex. That's Spider-Man. That is Spider-Man, Spider-Woman, Madam Web, Gwen Stacy, who the fuck knows? Miles Morales. That's all latex.
Listen, I'm telling you, I could have made your budget back for you, Sony. Just have Miss Madam Web. You're going to change the whole character anyways. You're going to take this little old lady who sits in like a giant web and she's like...
She's like, here, go to this portal now.
or whatever. And you're going to turn her into... And I believe this is the actress from 50 Shades of Grey.
No wonder I don't like her. I hated 50 Shades of Grey. I really hate that movie so much. But I will say the acting in it was great. For what it was.
She's an attractive actress. Just go for some sex appeal. Please, Sony, give us something. I'm telling you, that could have saved this. Instead, she teams up with a bunch of high schoolers.
And that was another weird thing. Why is she teaming up with a bunch of teens?
Because that's what the Marvels did.
Ew.
So that, to me, is the entire play here. It is literally, we're going to, now, unfortunately for Sony, and they should have known this going in, the Marvels flopped. Like, it did not do well. I think that Madame Web is actually doing better than the Marvels did.
And I think that's only because it's quote unquote Spider-Man related.
People will watch anything with the spider in it. That's which true. Is probably why the villain in this looks so much like Spider-Man. They took a Spider-Man adjacent tiny character and they branched her out so that they could do this Girls Get It Done.
Which is dumb. There's so many better ways you can do it. I said this before and I'll say it again. I really hate that. Girls Get It Done shit. There's so many better ways to do it.
But they took that, they twisted it in this whole way, and it's like, go for broke. You know, you're rebooting this character, make her, you know, make a sexy character finally.
Hot. She was in 50 Shades of Grey. Come on now. But you don't think everyone's already going to be like,
comic books just can't be sexy anymore. And I don't know why. You know, I mean...
Because it supposedly it degrades women like that.
Well...
That's the argument that most women make is like, oh, well, if that's degrading, like, well, I won't ever look like that. And like, what if I want... Well, then show me better. Look better. Get out there. Do it.
She said it, folks, not me. Get on your bikes and ride.
Like, you...
And don't get me wrong. Fat bottom girls make the rockin' world go round. You gonna take me home tonight.
But to take an actress like that who knows how to do sex appeal, shows up in basically webs to premiere, and then make her this downgraded character.
And I'm not going to say that she's like a downgraded character. I'm not going to say that every female character has to be sexy in a you know, superhero movie. But, you know, I'm just thinking like, how could we have made this stand out and not just be another forgettable ensemble superhero movie? Which, have we noticed that since the Avengers, none of these ensemble superhero movies have done well?
Yeah, and they're supposed to be coming out with the new Avengers.
I mean, the Eternals didn't do well.
It was terrible. I didn't even watch it.
The Marvels didn't do well. Nobody is really there for that. Nobody's invested in this.
Everyone just wants a good, old-fashioned superhero movie, period.
If you're going to introduce Marvel Web, don't introduce for...
Marvel Web?
You know what? Because it's so much like the Marvels. I think that's what we can call this movie from now on. Marvel
Web.
If you're going to do Marvel Web, don't make it Marvel Web. Make it Madame Web. Make it just about this character and take some freaking time doing it. Before you have her team up with a bunch of high schoolers who none of them really look like high schoolers anyways.
I was going to say... They look a little old to be high schoolers. And also, one of them kind of looks like Black Widow reincarnated, the one on the right.
Look, if you're going to do this, like, give us some time to get to know this character, how you imagine them. I mean, I will say Doctor Strange does a bunch of weird time jump, loop-de-loop, crazy stuff. But at least when we got a Doctor Strange movie, they took this little character that not a lot of people knew, and they really decided to develop that and to make him a likable character. They took an actor like this actress, you know, who's been in other stuff, but who sort of needed an introduction into this universe. Yeah. And they did it. And that was when Kevin Feige and the whole Marvel agenda as managed in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because this is something separate from that. But the whole Marvel agenda is managed by the Marvel Universe was really on point. They were on the ball. They said, we're going to give you a little teaser to Black Panther in the Avengers.
Oh, yeah.
Or was that in
Who was in that
Civil War?
Civil War, yeah.
We're going to give you a little bit of him there, but you're really going to get to meet this character later. And then they introduced him fully. They did the Black Panther movie, and it felt very authentic to that character.
I'm just mad that the actor kind of deceased.
Well, it's very sad that he passed away.
Yeah.
And all jokes aside, you know, that was very sad. Yeah, that actor who, you know, mostly kept that to himself and never really talked about what he was going through.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you just find out one day that somebody has passed away, you know. So that's a really sad thing to happen. And yeah, it also sort of, you know, the point is that like with Doctor Strange, like Black Panther, you give them their own movie. You know, sure, Black Panther was introduced with Civil War,
but he was introduced in a way that was like he was already kind of established as Black Panther, while the Black Panther movie showed how he got to be Black Panther.
Right. So this is a standalone. This is a movie called Madam Web. But suddenly she's got 3 other chicks like beneath her, like are working with her or whatever it is. And, you know, that doesn't really work. And I totally am convinced that this was
just a ploy.
Just cashing in on what Marvel was doing with the Marvels. And I feel like maybe they realized a little too late. Hold on.
Not what I was supposed to do.
The Marvels is not doing so well. And then they had this clunker and they just put it out there. And you can really, from what I hear about the film, you can really see in the editing and the way things just feel thrown together. This film only had an $80 million budget.
Yeah, it made like 49.
I feel like it finished close to making back its original budget on opening weekend. So it's not going to do terribly, but they say that with marketing, but I really think that they probably, and I think that that's part of the reason that this didn't do as well as it did. I think a lot of the marketing budget and a lot of the post-production was rushed through. And I think they could have gotten more people to see this movie, but I think that they kneecapped it a little bit because they saw that it wasn't going to make the money and that the Marvels wasn't doing well, and they knew that
this wasn't gonna.
That this was Sony's The Marvels, a la Spider-Man, which is, I guess, the only character that they have rights to. So we're just going to get a ton of movies about various Spider-Man characters.
Well, they have the rights to not Marvel's Spider-Man, but they have a right to like their Spider-Man, which was Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man.
Sure, but they can still make movies like this about Venom, about
which they tried to weirdly introduce Venom into the Marvel MCU, and it just felt weird. Yeah, at the end, he was the end credit.
In which movie?
Was it Endgame?
Nope.
He was the end credit for.
I don't think so.
On the island. I don't know what movie it was then, but he was an end credit for some movie, and maybe it was Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness, because he was an end credit, and at the end he was like, "What was that?" And he's like, "It's like, oh, nothing," and that's all you got from him.
What I know is, you know, this didn't work. Obviously, that's why we're making the video, not because we saw it. We're probably not going to see it.
No,
it does not look good.
Doesn't look good. With the I'm not even gonna lie, with the thing over her eyes, it literally looks like she's going for 50 Shades of Grey again.
Oh. Maybe they're like at this point,
little BDSM.
No, well, who knows? I don't really know what they were going for at all here, except trying to make the Marvels, but for Spider-Man. That's all that it felt like to me. And it just didn't seem appealing.
it really flopped because, like I said before, I'm into all types of like, oh yeah, girls deserve power, all that. This is not the way to show off. Oh, it's girl power, yeah. And introducing a whole new character who people don't probably remember.
Listen, introduce the character, but introduce the character. Don't introduce 4 characters. You've got 4 suited up super chicks all being introduced in the same movie.
Exactly.
And frankly, in the hands of a really competent, cinematic universe, the way that Marvel was 5 years ago,
yeah,
maybe you could have done this and really done it justice. In the hands of Sony, no, you're getting schlock.
Unfortunate.
And you know what? Venom was schlock, but it was fun schlock. And this could have been fun schlock too. This could have been sexy Madam Web, listen.
You just want sexy everything.
I know I'm just going to sound like a horn dog here, and I am. But the thing is, where is the sex appeal in these comics anymore?
It's not just this gen. It's not like,
I feel like they're making these movies for general audiences, and you could make a very fun Madam Web movie.
Yeah.
And
she's not too much of a serious character either.
And if you're not going to do something sexy, do something like Doctor Strange. Make it really weird.
Yeah.
This could have been a very weird character, but they played it safe and they went for something that is essentially just the Marvels. And just like the Marvels,
it flopped.
Way down.
Wah, 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 wah.
I think that this is just, unfortunately, another sign that Sony is not cut out to manage these properties. I didn't see any of the Into the Spider-Verse movies. I hear they're good.
Into the Spider-Verse, I saw the first one. I got to see the second one, but the first one was really good. If you like that comic book animation style, you'll love that. It's literally just comic book animation style.
It looks fun. I wasn't ready for another new Spider-Man. We've had 3 live-action Spider-Mans. Now we've got a whole different character playing a different Spider-Man.
Well,
I just was like, you know what? Enough Spider-Man. Do the Tom Holland character. Don't turn him into Iron Man.
Well,
let him be Spider-Man. And don't give me a new Spider-Man. Stop it.
Like I was going to say, he supposedly is supposed to be introduced into the Tom Holland universe because of the video games that are coming out now. The Spider-Man video games are kind of predicting where the movies are going. So it's supposed to be Tom Holland's Spider-Man is going to go through this weird shift that he's going through now and then teach Miles Morales how to be Spider-Man.
Okay. So what I get from that is that the Marvel Spider-Man character is eventually going to suck too. Like,
that's so mean.
That sounds like it's going to be garbage. Not interested in that at all. I don't want to see another Spider-Man hand over the mantle. It's basically what they did with the last Spider-Man movies, where the previous Spider-Man
I get it.
And now he's handing it off to another Spider-Man. Do you see the problem here? Like, we're getting into territory with Spider-Man where this is a simple character. Stop it.
Well, we've seen so many iterations of Spider-Man already. We have Tom Holland, and well, now we have Tom Holland. But before we had Andrew Garfield, and then before that, it was Tobey Maguire. We've had like 3 iterations of Spider-Man already.
Yeah, and I'm not ready for him to hand over the mantle yet because they still haven't made, like, they made Spider-Man, the first Tom Holland Spider-Man movie feels like the only Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
The rest was like Marvel tie-in movies. And, if you're going to do Spider-Man, he's the face of Marvel. More than Iron Man.
It's true.
Spider-Man is the big character. Use him well. Make him Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Do not turn him into Iron Man. I want Spider-Man. I want the quips. I wanted him to be snarkier.
I want the puns.
The puns.
I want the puns.
I wanted him to be snarkier. I want a fun Spider-Man movie with Black Cat and introduce one of his weird, silly villains, Hobgoblin.
I want Gwen Stacy. That's what I want.
Yeah, Gwen Stacy would be nice at this point. We've had enough of this Mary Jane. You know, frankly.
Even in the comics, he's had other love interests besides Mary Jane.
You know, and hey, Zendaya, Zabadoobadooboo.
I don't like her, so it's fine.
She can come back eventually, you know, maybe he settles down.
She's doing Dune, man.
Which she's good in Dune. Let her do Dune.
She's really, really good in Dune.
Let her do Dune. I
don't like her, so.
Let her do Dune. But don't give us.
Stop trying to make Mary Jane smart. Stop it. Stop it.
Well,
She's an idiot.
Mary Jane's smart enough.
She's an idiot who likes modeling and pretty things. That's Mary Jane. Stop trying to make her smart. Stop
Whatever. Listen, Mary Jane is a fine love interest. I just think we're ready to hone in on like a real Spider-Man doing, give us some time with Spider-Man.
Give us Green Goblin.
And you know what? Maybe we're ready to see Venom cross over into Spider-Man territory now.
Because Venom was a villain for a while in Spider-Man comic books.
Pretty much the most famous Spider-Man villain, except for Green Goblin, thanks to the movies.
Yes.
Green Goblin became a big one.
I want Sandman back, too. I want Sandman. I miss Sandman.
It was fun. Anyways, I just think, we've had too much. We've had too much, too quick of too many different things, too many companies, too much Spider-Man.
Too much competition. Stop it.
And too many comic book movies in general.
Right.
Remember
when it used to be once a year, maybe you got one?
And this has been a problem for a while. And the fact that so many of them have been Spider-Man adjacent.
God, I love Spider-Man. I'm so tired of it, so.
Just give him some time. Bring him back in. Let him sling some web.
Let him be depressed.
Let him hang out in New York City and just be Spider-Man. We didn't need this movie. Obviously, audiences are reacting. Critics are reacting as if they didn't need this movie.
Everyone's reacting as if they didn't need this movie because we didn't need this movie. Sony has no tie-ins. Well, tie-ins even with the Marvel Universe. Why are you using Madam Web as a supposed tie-in? Disney does not want it. Period.
No, and I don't think they even have to. Not everything has to tie into something else, but I think you could have made a great Madam Web movie. Don't try to turn it into the Marvels. And I know that's why they chose Madam Web. They wanted,
badass girl.
They were rummaging through comics looking for who is Spider-Man's strong female lead character. What about Madam Web? She's got a name like Miss Marvel. She's got like they've got she's got a strong female name, Madam Web, and we can just make the Marvels, but make it Sony style with Spider-Man stuff.
Bullshit.
It didn't work. It's the wrong approach.
It's bullshit.
It's not good. So we're not going to see this one.
I'm not that sad about it.
We're not missing anything. We didn't need this. And it turned out to be crap.
Yeah.
On that exciting note, I guess that's the best place to leave off. Just, if you're really bored, maybe go see it. I hear it's entertaining just as a farce. Just as crap. Just enjoy your slop. In the meantime, speaking of enjoying your slop, You can subscribe to us and get more slop from yours truly.
And myself.
And herself. So leave a comment. Tell us about Madam Marvel Web.
Madam Web Marvel comic.
And tell us what you thought. If you did see the movie, if you enjoyed it, feel free to leave hateful, nasty comments defending it.
I will heart it with all my heart.
We'll leave a heart on those. Subscribe. Ring-a-ding-ding that bell. Give us a like.
Subscriptions sparkle now, so if you subscribe, it'll go woo.
Yeah, that'll be your little spider sense going off. I made this joke in the last video.
You did.
You already get it. Listen, we've got more coming. Keep an eye out. We'll keep you posted. We'll see what we're doing. Until then, bye-bye.
See ya.